So a lot of you may have heard of Chime or you use it on a daily basis, and you may have heard that they just came out with a credit builder feature. So in this video, we're gonna talk about what it does, if you should use it, and much more. What's up? I'm Brandon Young, and on this channel, I teach you how to make, save, and invest money. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss a beat. Now, I think before we can even talk about this credit builder, we have to understand where a credit score comes from. Now, before you can even get a credit score, you usually have to get it from something called a credit report. Now, your credit report is essentially a collection of information about all your credit accounts. This may include who you owe money to, minimum payments, just all your credit history in general. Now, these scores are particularly controlled by 5 things, and this score is usually called a FICO score. Now, 35% of that FICO score is gonna be payment history, 30% is going to be accounts owed, 15% is going to be the length of your actual credit history, 10% is going to be like inquiries of new credit on your actual account, and the last and final 10% is based off the actual types of credit that you're using on your actual account. Now that we can understand how credit scores are calculated, let's talk more about the actual card. Now, if you're new to this credit card game, this Chime card is gonna work a little bit differently. Now, the reason why it's gonna work a little differently is because this Chime card is what we call a secured credit card. Now, secured credit cards are usually backed by a cash deposit when you actually open up the account. And they usually differ from traditional credit cards because usually traditional credit cards have a credit limit. But when you actually have a secured credit card, your deposit is basically your credit limit. So if you deposit $200, your credit limit would be $200. Now, usually these deposits, they pose kind of like little risk to the card issuer, because the way it works is if you don't pay your bill on time, essentially they're just going to keep that money that you deposited and case closed. And that's usually why secured credit cards are available to everybody, especially with people with no credit or very bad credit. So that's usually why it's available to those people. So the Chime credit card, as we know, is a secured credit card, but how does it work exactly? Now, first things first, you usually already have to have a Chime account, and usually with that Chime account, you're going to have a Chime spending account. So you're gonna have to transfer some money from your Chime spending account to your actual credit builder account. Now, once you've transferred over those funds, essentially that is the cash deposit that we spoke about earlier. So whatever amount you actually deposit into that account, that will be your credit limit for that card. Now, secondly, once you funded that account, you'd go around, you would use that card as normal, but just be very wary. You do not have an unlimited credit limit. You can only spend what you put on that actual card, but you'd go ahead and spend it anywhere that accepts Visa credit cards. And lastly, when you do these credit card purchases and you pay them off, Chime will go ahead and report all those to the actual credit bureaus, and you will start to see your credit slowly increase. Now, some pros to this card. Number one is there is actually no fees associated with this. So there's no interest fees, there's no late fees, there's no hidden fees whatsoever. So you don't have to worry about getting anything in the mail that's saying, oh, you owe this, and that, and all these fees that you'd even know were gonna hit your account. Second thing is there is no credit check. So you don't have to worry about having bad credit, no credit. They're not gonna check your credit. Usually everybody is accepted, because the way that it actually works is if you do that cash deposit and you don't pay it back, they're just gonna keep your money, that's it. So they're not really worried about you not paying it back or whatever, because they're just gonna keep the money, that's it. Last and final pro is the primary goal is to help you build your credit, which is awesome because, as you may not believe, credit scores in America, depending on what your credit score, it may be very good, but on average, I've seen people's credit scores be pretty low, like in the 500s and in the low 600s. So everybody does have the opportunity to increase their credit score. So that is always a plus. Now, the only con to this actual card is you have to do a deposit. So usually with traditional credit cards, there's no deposit. You just automatically start using the card. But with this actual card, credit works off a deposit. So whatever deposit you put in, that is going to be your card limit. So if you don't have that many funds, your card limit is going to be relatively low. But with this card, the primary goal is to actually improve your credit. So you shouldn't really worry too much about what the credit limit is. But I ultimately believe that this card is a great tool for anybody that is trying to build their credit or wants to do a little bit of improvement to their credit. No? But what do you think? Do you like what this card is doing? Would you get it? Would you recommend it to a friend? Let me know in the comment section below. I will leave a link for this actually in my description if you're interested. So go ahead, check it out, and go ahead and go get signed up, because I think it's a very good tool to improve your credit. Watch this video, go subscribe here. I'm Brandon Young, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.